is Bursa. So, Bursa Malaysia is an exchange holding corporation that was established in 1976 and listed in 2005. Bursa Malaysia, which is one of the largest bourses in Asia, helps over 900 companies raise capital across 50 economic activities, whether through the main market for large-cap companies, the S market for emerging companies of all sizes, or the lead market for small and medium-sized enterprise. As an inclusive marketplace, they offer simple access to a variety of investment products and services, connecting domestic and international market participants to all types of opportunities that will enable them to expand or invest with consequence. Exchange-traded fund ETF, real estate investment trust REITs, and exchange-traded bonds and sukuk ETBs are a few of Bursa's diverse product offerings. As a key pulse point for the Asian region, Bursa Malaysia has the influence, global connection, and capabilities to drive the market forward in this fast-growing part of the world, putting it in a prime position to identify the best opportunities for stakeholders such as investors, traders, issuers, and shareholders to achieve the value and growth that they seek. Next is the organization of Bursa Malaysia. So there were three structures, which are corporate, organization, and regulatory. So for corporate structure, as can be seen, there were Bursa Malaysia Securities, which incorporated in 4 December 2003 with the principal activities to provide, operate, and maintain a securities exchange. Also, there were Bursa Malaysia Derivative, which incorporated in 1993, Bursa Malaysia Derivative Clearing Berhad in 1995, Labuan International Financial Exchange incorporated in 1999, Bursa Malaysia Information Center Berhad in 1986, Bursa Malaysia Depository incorporated in 1967, Bursa Malaysia Depository Nominees Syndrome Berhad in 1992, Bursa Malaysia Securities Clearing in 1983, Bursa Malaysia Bond Syndrome Berhad in 1994, Bursa Malaysia Islamic Services in 2009, Bursa Malaysia Regulation Syndrome Berhad in 2020, and also Public Company Limited by Guaranty Yayasan Bursa Malaysia, which incorporated in 24 June 1996. Next is the organization structure. So as can be seen in the structure, the top was Chief Executive Officer, followed up by the Corporate Governance and Secretarial, Internal Audit, Risk and Compliance, and others such as the Derivative Market, Security Market, and so on. And the list were regulatory structure. So for this, it can be explained that capital market is governed by the following acts of parliament, which are the Capital Markets and Services Act 2007, Securities Industry 1991, Securities Commission Act 1993, Companies Act 1965, Offshore Companies Act 1990, and Labuan Financial Services and Securities Act 2010. In fact, for this regulatory, it can be shown that on top were Ministry of Finance followed up by SC and FCA. Also, Bursa Malaysia Berhad were under the Securities Commission SC.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NAJATUL SHAHIRAH and I will present Syariah compliance in Bursa Malaysia. Syariah compliance stocks, I-stocks, a stock, also known as shares or equity, is a form of investment that reflects a claim on a portion of a corporation's assets and revenues. Bursa Malaysia, being an integrated market, provides a diverse range of Sharia-compliant equities. The Sharia Advisory Council (SAC) of the Securities Commission Malaysia (SC) created the security screening methodology which evaluates the Sharia compliance of securities listed and traded on Bursa Malaysia. The Sharia compliance evaluation is carried out for securities of firms listed on the exchange as well as for companies preparing to become public. The most recent yearly audited financial statements are used to evaluate each publicly traded firm. Investors may visit the Securities Commission Malaysia (SC) official website twice a year, in May and November, for an updated list of Sharia-compliant equities. Sharia-compliant index, I-index. Bursa Malaysia has created 4 Sharia index in collaboration with FTSE Russell, a renowned worldwide index provider, to measure the performance of Sharia-compliant securities. First, FTSE Bursa Malaysia Hijrah Syariah Index FBM Hijrah, which comprises the top 30 largest companies in the FBM Emas Index that meet the eligibility criteria of FTSE's global standards, YUSROL International Sharia Screening Methodology and SAC Screening Methodology. Second, FTSE Bursa Malaysia Emas Syariah Index FBM Emas Syariah, which comprises constituents of the FTSE Bursa Malaysia Emas Index that are Sharia compliant according to the Securities Commission's SAC screening methodology and FTSE screens of free float, liquidity and investability. Third, FTSE Bursa Malaysia Small Cap Index FBM Small Cap Sharia, which comprises constituents of the FTSE Bursa Malaysia Small Cap Index that are Sharia compliant according to the Securities Commission Sharia Advisory Council screening methodology. FTSE Bursa Malaysia Mid Cap Sharia Index, which consists of all constituents of the FTSE Bursa Malaysia Mid Cap Index that are Sharia compliant according to the SAC screening methodology. Index tracking funds refers to index that, in addition to acting as performance benchmark, are intended for the formation of structured products. The index members are inspected and evaluated for market capitalization, free float and liquidity. Sharia Compliant Exchange Traded Funds (IETFs). An exchange traded fund (ETF) is a novel financial instrument that combines the finest characteristics on open-ended funds and listed stocks. ETFs are defined as a listed index tracking fund structured as a unit trust scheme or any other approved structures whose primary objective is to achieve returns that correspond to the performance of a particular index. Under the Securities Commission Malaysia Exchange Traded Funds guidelines, simply explained, an ETF is a unit trust that is listed and traded on a stock market. In general, it is passively managed since ETF seeks to duplicate the performance of a certain market index by investing all full replication or virtually all strategic sampling of its component stocks. An IETF, unlike the traditional ETF, follows only benchmark index whose components are Sharia compliant. In addition, the IETF management must rigorously adhere to Sharia principles and Islamic investing rules. A Sharia board committee or advisory oversees the functioning of the IETF and conducts Sharia compliant audits and reviews on a regular basis. Before becoming an IETF, a fund must go through a true Sharia screening process. The approach for screening index components is defined by the Sharia board, committee or advisor of the index provider, the regulatory agency and the fund itself. Sharia screening is performed at the time investment choice and continues throughout the investment terms to guarantee ongoing Sharia compliance. The aforementioned quarterly Sharia compliance monitoring takes into consideration any companies move such as mergers and acquisitions, delisting or bankruptcy. As a result, the IETF is periodically cleaned by the identifying, segregating and distributing to charity any Sharia compliant revenue.
Okay, now I will continue to the next part, which is the products and services offered by Bursa Malaysia. The company provides 12 products and services, but I only focus on 5 of them. The first product is shares, which is this product under the equity market. There are two types of shares traded on Bursa Malaysia, which are ordinary shares and preference shares. Ordinary shares, also called as equity shares, are the company raised capital. Ordinary shares give holders a right of ownership in the company, such as the right to share in the profit, the right to vote in the general meeting, and the right to elect and dismiss directors. Obligations of ownership are also conferred, and these may result in the loss of an investor's money if the company is unsuccessful. Ordinary shares usually form the bulk of a company capital and have no special right over other shares. In the event of liquidation, ordinary shares rank after all other liabilities of the company. Next, preference shares. These shares carry the right to a dividend, normally fixed, which ranks for payment before that of other ordinary shareholders. Preference shares may also be preferred as regards the distribution of assets upon the dissolution of the company. Preferred shares generally carry no voting right, but voting rights may be made contingent upon failure to pay dividends on preferred shares for a certain period. The second product is exchange-traded bonds and sukuk, or known as ETBs. ETBs are fixed income securities, also known as bonds or sukuk, that are listed and traded on the stock market. ETBs are issued either by companies or governments to raise funds for their needs. ETBs have varying structures such as fixed rates, floating rates, and hybrids. Why do people invest in ETBs? There are four reasons to invest in ETBs, which are flexibility and ease of trading, transparency, diversification, and additional income streams. The third product is Bursa Souk Asilah, which is this product is under the Islamic market. BSAS is a commodity trading platform designed to facilitate Islamic liquidity management and financing by Islamic financial institutions. It was initiated as a national project by Bank Negara Malaysia, the Securities Commission Malaysia, Bursa Malaysia Berhad, and industry players supporting the Malaysia International Islamic Finance Centre initiative. The fully electronic web-based platform offers industry players an avenue to conduct multi-commodity and multi-currency trades from around the world. This innovative offering strengthens Malaysia's position as an international Islamic financial hub by integrating global Islamic finance and capital markets with the commodity market. BSAS is managed by Bursa Malaysia Islamic Service (SDN-BHD), which is a regulated, transparent, and Sharia-compliant subsidiary of Bursa Malaysia. The fourth product is LFX. LFX is an international financial exchange based in Labuan, which is the International Business Financial Centre for Malaysia. LFX was established to complement the various business financial services currently available in Labuan. LFX is limited by shares and is wholly owned by Bursa Malaysia Berhad. LFX is a full-fledged exchange with listing facilities. Its initial focus is on the listing of financial instruments. The goal of LFX is to facilitate the influx of funds through the listing of financial instruments. To achieve its stated goals, LFX will strive to be recognized as investor-friendly, to be market-driven and transparent, and to utilize international networking communication systems. The fifth product is the Central Depository System, or known as CDS. CDS is a system that is fully owned and operated by Bursa Malaysia Depository SDN-BHD, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Bursa Malaysia Berhad. Investors who wish to trade in securities listed on Bursa Malaysia must open CDS accounts with authorized depository agents, for example, stockbroking companies. Securities bought will be credited into CDS accounts that the investors have opened. Likewise, securities sold will be debited from the CDS account. Investors can use the Central Depository System to transfer securities from one CDS account to another, provided the transfers are within the reasons approval by Bursa Malaysia Depository SDN-BHD. Other transactions that depositors can perform via the central depository system are registering bank account information, updating account particulars, reactivating dormant CDS accounts, reactivating inactive CDS accounts, depositing share certificates, withdrawing shares of delisting companies, and closing CDS accounts.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will presenting about risk and compliance framework. Risk and compliance framework was designed in accordance with ISO 31000 in 2009 risk management principles and guidelines, while the compliance framework was designed based on the internationally recognized ISO 19600 compliance management system. Business continuity management framework was developed in line with ISO 22301 standard. In addition, the group adopted the guideline on financial market infrastructure issued by SC Malaysia and Principles for Financial Market Infrastructure (PFMI) issued International Organization of Securities Commission (IOCSO) to manage the risk of its business and operation. One of the key features of the risk management framework is the implementation of three lines of defense comprising established and clear functional responsibilities and accountabilities for the management of risk. First line is senior management committee members, and divisional head. For this line, they will accountable for all risks assigned under their respective areas and responsibility. Second line is the risk and compliance (RC-team) and management risk and audit committee (RMAC). For this line, they will monitoring the risk and approving matter within its authority for implementation across the group. The last line for internal audit and audit committee, they will provide an assurance of the effectiveness of the enterprise risk governance framework. This is the risk management, which is operational risk management. The management of operational risk is guided by the definition of Principle 17 of the IOSCO-PFMI. So, operational risk is identified as the risk that is deficiencies in information system or internal processes, human errors, management failure, or external events that result in reduction, the breakdown, or services provided by the Bursa Malaysia. So, the management of some of the significant operational risks based by the group, such as business interruption, appropriate system with a liquid capacity security arrangement facilities, and resources are increased to meet good risks that could cause interruption of the group's critical business function. So, the group has comprehensive business continuity bank (BCP), including disaster recovery plan, which is tested annually to ensure continuity of their business and technology operation. Besides the mandatory industry-wide test, the group also facilitates a BCP exercise for the market participant. The objective of this exercise was to ensure market participant backup site or system can be connected successfully in Bursa Malaysia in the event of disruption. Second is cyber security of Bursa Malaysia is adopted by Cyber Resilience for Financial Market Infrastructure issued by IOSCO and Guideline and Management of Cyber Risk issued by SC Malaysia. Lastly is policies procedure. So the effective operation of Bursa Malaysia is dependent to a significant extent on the availability and effectiveness of the framework policies and process. So the hence presumption has put in place of the key framework, policies and procedure which include the system or operation, which is IT, security policy, information management, policy business rule, trading and clearing procedures ISMS manual. Next is risk and compliance, which is ERMPF compliant framework BCM framework. For the people is group of 80 employee handbook group, dictionary policies, and lastly is budget, which is finance policy and procedure, corporate authority, and contract management guideline.
Last but not least is benefit of Bursa Malaysia. Bursa Malaysia's primary function is to ensure that the price of information for trading securities on the exchange is properly distributed and that market transaction is fair and orderly. Bursa Malaysia, for example, offers a central depository system (CDS) for electronic share transaction. Bursa Malaysia also participates in the Islamic capital market, offering Sharia-compliant securities in accordance with the Sharia investment requirements. Secondly, Bursa Malaysia offers liquidity markets for investors to capitalize on capital gains. Investors seeking capital gains must purchase at a lower price and resell at a greater price. Meanwhile, long-term investors retain shares for an extended period of time and earn rewards in the form of dividends. Thirdly, Bursa Malaysia makes information available to the public via real-time information dissemination. This will assist investors in making the best investment decision. Bursa Malaysia maintains a website with information about the Malaysian capital market such as the online stock price, company profile, announcement, trading and settlement procedures, and information about participating firms and controlling entrance to exchange membership. Additionally, through the clearinghouse, Bursa Malaysia also facilitates clearing and settlement for share transactions. To minimize settlement risk, Bursa Malaysia use fixed delivery and settlement system (FTSS) and institutional settlement (ISS) for clearing and settlement. Finally, Bursa Malaysia protects all the Bursa Malaysia members. To operate the security market, all the participants must adhere to the rules and policy established by Bursa Malaysia. There has a compensation fund to assist investors who have suffered monetary loss due to illegal abuse by the directors, employees, or capital market services representative (CSMR).